for a decade, I would be doing or getting involved with this new thing that came to me that I never heard of, never understood, YouTube. And I looked at it and I see all these people were talking about different stuff. They actually have it's like their own television shows. I said, wow, what a concept that was. I got to try this. I managed to figure out how to get on, and that's when I had my own channel at the time. I am the original, only My Philippines Interest. Many have tried to copy the name, but it's never the same. I am the true My Philippines Interest. Many have tried, many have failed, but I think I did quite a service to the community through all these years. I really do. I think I've been a wealth of information to people, and I've had fun doing it. And unfortunately, well, there is a method to my madness, and there always has been. People think that they have manipulated me and baited me and stuff, but it's been actually quite the opposite. I got to know the psychology of the people on here, and that took quite a while. It took quite a while with some people anyway, and others was just felt real simple. But I utilized whatever talents I had and knowledge about people to be able to know that I could put on a show. And all I have to mention is somebody's name, and I know right away somebody's going to do a show on me. I expected it. There's a certain amount of things on here that I absolutely choreographed without you even believing that I could do that. Yeah, I had my own fun on here too. And sometimes when people think I was so pissed off, I was so mad. There was a couple of times I was. Oh yeah. I could jump through the screen and grab somebody by their throat. Oh, I've had a couple of those times, good old days. Believe me. And I meant it. If I was pissed, I was pissed. And a good thing they weren't in front of me. But reality's reality. You can only do so much. You could voice your opinion, but do it in a way that's more constructive, but not restrictive. That's what I say. Be constructive, but not restrictive. Say what you need to say on here, and I always have. That's all. You don't have to go into attack mode. I just believe that if you don't like somebody, just tell them I don't like you. Then go away. Don't go away mad. Just go away. Well, I'm not going away mad. I'm just going away. I think my time on here has been overextended. And as I'm getting older, I need to spend a lot more time, and every minute counts with my loved ones here. And I think that's really important. That illegal shit will take care of itself. It'll take care of itself. Where do you think all the hate comes from? Like the other, well, it's just that they have too much time on their hands. Retirement is a bitch for some people, let me tell you. And sometimes you don't know what the hell to do with yourself. And sometimes, like when somebody has a job they've been doing all their life and love to do, and they had to retire, or they got retired, or got put out the pasture, these people would stand there in their apartment or house looking at the ceiling saying, what do I do now? What do I do now? God, I've seen so many movies when that happened. Or it could have been you know, an FBI agent or somebody's been always used to being on the go, on the go, on the chase. And then he got retired. Or maybe he got fired and found himself standing there in their room. They weren't married anymore. They were divorced. Children perhaps were growing up. And like the empty nest syndrome type thing. They stand there in their room. What do I do now? I got an idea. Go on a YouTube, make a YouTube channel. I could voice out all my all the transgressions, all the inner bitterness that people do on here. When people are not happy in their life, they just express bitterness. And that's what we've seen on here. There's a lot of bitter people, and I don't have to go through the list of names. And you know who they are. Did I manage to trigger people by telling the truth? And I triggered them to a point that I actually was able to trigger them to go as far as putting on channels devoted to me, albeit they're not positive channels, not all of them, but there's some that just repeat what I do. Do you know why? Really, you've been manipulated. Do you know why I take my shows down? Let me tell you why. Because everything becomes third party. That's why. I told you there's a method to my madness. Everything becomes third party. This show will become third party if it's repeated. That doesn't mean I can say it and get away with everything I want. No. And I will say that to everybody. But that's one of the reasons I do it. Because, well, I don't need to keep it on. Because I got somebody that's doing the job for me. It's like I have a personal secretary. Isn't that wonderful? I have a biographer. I actually have biographers on here. Who in them has ever reached that point on YouTube? Think about it. Who has ever reached that point of fame? And it's not that you have 1 million subscribers either to have fame, to reach the epitome of success. What is success for me? Success for me on YouTube was simply being able to get on here and voice my opinion, whether it was agreed of what I had to say, or people took what I had to say seriously or non seriously, or whether they learned something from me or they didn't learn. Even getting somebody to mock me is quite an accomplishment because it means that I was significant enough to be talked about, to be recorded. I think that's quite a monumental thing, in my own opinion. I know. Here's Frank doing a show today. Well, see, I never got to thank my viewers. I want to be good about this. I never got to thank my avid viewers. Even people like Drew Norley. My God, he has been with me since the inception of my show, and he's been there forever. And there's a lot of people who've also been here forever following me and following me. I'm so happy that I've been able to enlighten your lives. And I mean that from all my heart. It's coming from a deep place. Whether you're a troll or whatever, somehow I took control of your life and you made your life part of mine. And I guess I'm really flattered about that. Like Sally Field's speech. They like me. They really, really like me. Well, I'll tell you what, under the cover of hate, I think there's a lot of like. You would never spend that much time listening to my show if you despised me, if you hated me, if you liked me, if you didn't like me, so you claim. But I managed to keep your attention for 10 fucking years. 10 fucking years. That's an amazing feat in itself. But everything has a beginning and everything has an end. Um, I thought about completely pulling off the whole Google account. That might even come down to that. For all seriously, I'm not getting younger, and neither are you. And I'm getting older. And, if you believe in God, only God knows how long you're going to be on this planet. Um, I'm a pretty stubborn motherfucker. So, I might have a little more mileage under my belt than most people are hoping for. And a lot of people on here are younger than me and they think they're going to live forever. But, I see people dropping like flies, and some of them are younger than me. And I know some that will drop because, unfortunately, for their own situations of obesity, I talk about that a lot. Their lifestyle, of course, what they eat, everything else. No, guys, listen, I never said I was Mr. Perfect at all. Not as a YouTuber, not as a health enthusiast, because actually I smoke. And that's kind of a contradiction. And I understand, and maybe it's a little, a bit of hypocrisy. As I always said, don't have to go with all the bad, that you could introduce good in your life, as well as adhering to what you may think is as bad. Like, I caught you in something. You talk about supplementation, you talk about vitamins, you talk about all this, but you're smoking, Frankie, you're smoking. I never said I wasn't. And I never said on here I was doing a good thing for me. It could very well be the thing that kills me, or maybe the glue that keeps me together. And I've heard stories of that too. I won't get into this. I'm doing what I want to do until I decide to actually stop. And I hope it doesn't take something bad to make me stop. And that's unfortunately what happens to a lot of people. They wait till something happens. But I think all in all, from the information I have with a lot of YouTubers out there, that I've actually witnessed their lifestyle one way or the other, whether it was in person or whether it was through the YouTube channels, knowing what they eat, knowing the obesity, knowing they have high blood pressure, diabetes, and everything else. I don't have either one of them. I don't have either one of them. I'm not hypertensive. I'm not diabetic, not even pre-diabetic. Okay. My prostate, I looked at the measurement on the paper that they just sent me, and it was probably 25% less in size that would be expected at my age. And all the time I was thinking that it was enlarged, but it actually wasn't. I'm doing okay for my age. That's all. The only thing I could tell you, I'm doing okay for my age. What the future has for me in store, I don't even want to know. Would you really want to know? I just live every day like all you all do. I get up every morning, do what I need to do. Viking says you are healthier than your enemies. Ralph wants to know, you aware I'm being simulcast. That's my point. I love it because I'm important enough in Popeye's life to simulcast my show. That's the whole point I'm making. That's the beauty of all this. That I'm that significant in these people's lives that they have to simulcast me or record me. I'm loving every minute of it. I think this is phenomenal. I'm that important in their life, not their wives or their children or whatever they have, not even their dogs. But I'm important enough to be recorded. I'm important enough to have a simulcast done. I'm important enough for them to create shows on simply recording my shows. That's amazing. Who's actually reached that point of success? Of success. I did. I did. But anyway, I need to eat because I never did a thank you show on here. Let's call this my official retirement. No, I mean official retirement. I talked about it a lot, and I was full of shit. I know I was. But in part, I did that for reaction. Just about everything I've ever done on here was certainly to get a reaction from somebody, is to get a reaction. And it worked. Everything from the tree, everything from you name it, everything was to get an expected reaction. You would think I was a psych student or something, man, doing a thesis. I pulled this off so well that I even surprised myself. The stuff that was choreographed on here, you would never even know it was choreographed. I got the expected reaction from people. It worked even better than I expected, even better. I didn't think I'd be able to manipulate somebody in that way. and get it to the point that although I'm not like a channel with a million subs and all that stuff, or a small, shitty little channel, grassroots, I managed to get the attention of thousands of people and be the talk of the land. That's success, according to how you look at it. Success don't mean money necessarily. Love is success. What I wish for these people is that they find somebody. No, that's shut off already. I got that all shut off. I can't get that song off my mind. See you later, alligator. Do. In a wild crocodile. Do. See you later, alligator. It was stuck in my head all day yesterday, on and off. I'm not kidding. See you later, alligator. In a wild crocodile. And I have to finish with the comments here. Like, don't let nobody's winning, Viking. Don't let them win. If you retire now, they will boast about their achievements. Pennywise says, Frank, you can't retire until the bomber drama court case is over. And he is, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but you're a permanent feature in the Philippines YouTube society. Well, every time it takes, you have to retire from something now and then, whether it's a job or something. Nah, it's not like I haven't had fun on here, guys. It's going to get to the point now. You're going to be, and I'm going to light up a smoke. Want to hear it? Here's my lighter. Did you notice that Jay ran away? I'm just going to get it all out. You notice that Jay ran away? Jay put all that feisty little shows about me that he ran away. He took them all. See, I told you, people on here are predictable. They are absolutely predictable. Jay was predictable. Jay's what I call the hit and run man. He put all the nasty shows about me. Now he took them all off. You know why? Because I have the ability to have people look at themselves in a different way. And I achieved that with most everybody. Look at Popeye. He's recording me right. He's doing a simulcast right now. If it wasn't for me, Popeye would not have a life at all. Well, look, I'll be honest. I'm not his whole life, but I must say that I contribute to his life. To give him a reason to stay alive and not just get totally fossilized. I've done a service to Popeye. I've done a service to a lot of people. Pennywise says, Frank, you cannot retire until Popeyes travels back to the Philippines for the first time in 40 years. So that pretty much means that you will never retire. You hear me, Robert? People understand you, Robert. They do. You made a mockery of yourself all these years. Robert, I don't live the most exciting life, but it's got to be more exciting than yours. Remember, before the soap operas discontinued on TV, man. I mean, well, when you had the soap operas, man, it gave you something to look at, watching other people's lives go on while yours is so stagnant. So stagnant. So when you know, the soap operas came off TV, pretty much, I guess, you found a new soap opera. Old habits don't die, right, Robert? Old sailors never die. You'll die, Robert, like any one of us will. So he had to took the YouTube skits or sketches, whatever you want to call them. I guess they're called sketches, really, not really skits. They're like sketches, as stand-up comedians would do. You're never going to be a David Chappelle. What's his name? David Chappelle. That's a good stand-up. But you don't qualify for that, Popeye. All you could do is record my stuff. And, your stuff is getting old, Robert. Because when you do these so-called sketches, let's call them sketches, they're boring. Oh, you had a few that made me laugh. For the most part, you're still using old stuff on the editing floor to throw into your little sketches. And you know what? It's getting boring. Same old shit. The cat with the, same shit. Rah, rah, the American flag shit. Okay, we get it. You're a patriot. Okay, you're a patriot. You were in the service. Even though you've never seen action, you're never in the front lines, I suppose you served the job. You know, chief bottle washer, whatever you thought you were. You're a has been and never was. And if anybody I could talk about and say that, it would be you, Robert Clausen. It would be you. Yeah, I'll say it. In your case, it's actually true. It's true. You married a whore, is what you did. You married a whore. She was probably the one who was around that round table you used to talk about. Remember the round table you were so proud to talk about? All you guys sat around. You got a whore underneath the table sucking your dicks. Is that how you met her, Robert? And you married her. You married her. But the joke was on you because she divorced your ass because you're drunk in stupor and you struck her. That's what you did. You struck her, Popeye. She left your ass. And guess what? Is my understanding that she met a really wonderful guy. And I think he's actually black. That must really kill you. That must really kill you. Was he black? I could be wrong, but I heard he was African American. Oh, that's got to be killing you. It's got to be killing you. And she's happy. She's got her own little restaurant or food business going. You did. And your bitterness has shown out so much that right now you're doing a simulcast of me. What does that say about you, Robert? What does that say about you? Popeye was the Navy toilet. Okay, well, a Viking son says. Brisket says, you celebrate the 9th anniversary with Gilda. Popeye will soon celebrate his 40th anniversary of the last time he was in the PH. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? The smile game gets to marry the bar girl, Pennywise says. Pennywise says, once she goes black, she will never go back to Popeye. Ah, you know what they say. Once you go black, you never go back. That must kill you, knowing that she's being poked by a black man, because I believe you are. You hide behind this waving the American flag. Well, you know what? I don't hate America, Robert. I don't. I hate what America has become. And the president that you've elected, boy, that's going to turn. By putting tariffs on these countries, it's going to put the American people in turmoil. It's going to create inflation like you've never seen before. Trump says, don't worry, people. It's just going to hurt for a while. Nobody wants to be hurt. When you have to feed your family, they don't want to be hurt. They don't want this inflation. Trump is a power-hungry piece of shit. He's power-hungry. And then he even, amazing, this is what the United States has come to as far as the politicians and the laws of the country. He put himself in a position where he cannot be, guess what? Take a wild guess. That he has immunity. He could commit any crime he wants as a president. And you people elected him. And you allowed him to be the power freak that he is with full immunity, which means he could go and commit 32 more felonies, Robert. That's the guy you elected. The guy with 32 felonies that bought his way out of it. That's the kind of president you want. A bully as a president, which is a horrible example for the children growing up in this society. That's who you elected. A guy who is clearly a dictator. And you thought that was the best? Look, I wasn't exactly a Biden fan. Let me be honest with you. I wasn't exactly a Biden fan. I really wasn't. I think sometimes you get too old to be president. I think even Trump, he sees doctors. Trust me, he does. He shouldn't even be president. I think there should be a law on how old you are when you drive, but nevertheless to be the leader of the so-called free world. Free world. Are we really free in America? Then why are so many people moving out if we're so free, Robert? Why are people leaving the United States in droves? Because inflation has gone to the point The average person cannot support their family anymore, Robert. I know you rest on your laurels of being in the Navy and you've served and you are an exemplary example of an American with your little mobility bike and all the flags waving on there. And you probably have a little music box on there that plays some kind of a nautical theme or something. I could just picture you. Let's do a caricature of you, Popeye. People should be doing a video caricature of you, sir. And that would be the funniest thing we'd ever seen ever on here. Popeye thought he couldn't beat a bar girl. Then after marrying, he actually beat her. Pennywise says Popeye was the smile game winner and won the right to a bar fine and married the ex-wife that divorced him for a black. Okay, I read that before. Okay, so what's the purpose of this video today? It's one of these get it all out videos. That's what it is. It is. It's a get it all out video. Hope my signal doesn't break here. It's a get it all out video. It is a goodbye video. It actually is. I never had a chance to actually thank my viewers. I just abruptly said it, okay, whether you believe it or not, that I'm just getting off this shit. It has nothing to do with my lawyer's request, and it really doesn't have anything to do with my girlfriend's request. No, this is something I'm doing on my own. I'm not forced to get off by anybody, by trolls, by legalities, or anything like that. I just think there comes a time when you have to say, okay, it's been fun. And it really has been fun. And what I found out is that it doesn't make me a bad guy to manipulate people, but, you know, I've had my own share of manipulating the right people. And as I said, there's a method behind my madness. I got all my evidence from Barry by letting him be himself. I knew something would trigger him. He'd be on to do a show about me. I knew that. I knew that. There certainly was indeed a method behind my madness to get Popeye triggered to do something like doing a simulcast of me right now. That's an honor, Robert. That's an absolute honor that I occupy your time and mind.
Thank you, peoples here in YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Even a thank you from the famous Gilda. The fruit of my loin. The name that launched 1,000 ships. Now, they said 6 weeks it wouldn't last. But, ladies and gentlemen, people of all colors and races and creeds, 9 years with somebody that the trolls believed I would not be with for maybe more than 6 weeks. Officially, yesterday, 9 years. Could you do that, Popeye? How long have you been alone now, Popeye? Damn. It's got to be pretty lonely in your situation. Even your, unadopted son, Nico, had something to say to you. That's got to be a punch in the face. Oh, that's got to really hurt. That's got to hurt. Oh, I know you guys kiss and make up all the time, but even Nico spoke up to you. I bet you didn't like that, Robert. People are just not what they say who they are. I mean, look at Jay. Jay came on with a number of shows just downing me. But when I presented the truth about him, he disappeared. See, you got to have your own ammunition. When people like this come on and they say things about you, all you have to do is present the truth to these people like Don C and all these people who are totally convinced I don't have a degree or this or that or this or that. or don't have any accomplishments, it tears these people apart. Now, just saying something on YouTube doesn't mean it's the truth. I can say anything I want on here. I can say anything I want here, but is it the truth or is it not the truth? You know, is it or not? Sometimes the truth hurts these people. I think I missed my calling and what I should have been doing for a living. And I could think of a number of endeavors that I should have taken. I think I took the wrong path on my studies, truthfully. And there's a number of positions I probably would be really good at. But alas, that's the past, and it's now, it's history. It's history. Okay. I think I made a lot of accomplishments on here. I mean, look at this right now. I'm being simulcasted by Robert Clausen, Popeye, that you know as Popeye. I am that significant in his life that, well, what does he talk about anyway when he does a show? Nothing really. He likes to sit there on his velvet throne and find fault with people, as well, that's what trolls do. That's what they do. But let's get into something else real quick, because I want to get this all out. I really do. Then we got Barry, and okay, everybody's familiar with his situation. How could you not be? How could you not be? He figures he's got this bright future. But unfortunately for him, he's done things that pretty much ensure that his future is not going to be that bright, because it's not coming from a bright person to begin with. This thing about the marriage thing with him. I'm going to put it on record that I am suspicious about it, and for several reasons. And this could be the biggest scam thing he's ever pulled if he's not able to get married. And people say, why are you so worried about him getting married? I'm not worried about him getting married because I know what the future brings. It's not even a marriage if you can't be with the person you love. So his whole concept of all this is, well, I mean, let's face the reality, folks. He's even said it, which proves to me there's not love involved here. He's even said it. Once I get married, I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to do that. I can manipulate the system a bit. Maybe get a stay in the Philippines where I'm not going to be deported. Well, that's a done deal. There's already a summary deportation. Whether he likes it or not, he's definitely leaving the country. Like, as I said, I make a joke about it. If something like that happened to me, perhaps we can get a room together. What do you think about that, Barry? But unfortunately, on my rules, you're going to have to contribute to this relationship. Who gets the better side of the cardboard box, you or me? That's debatable. I just don't want to smell you. There has to be some divider on there. I just don't want to smell you, okay? Get all your aggressions out on me that you want. Because the fact is, and the truth is, he says, oh, he's bigger now. So he's a more worth adversary now if we have to get into it physically. Because he became obese. He says, oh, I'm not obese. According to my weight thing, I'm the same weight as you, so you must be obese. Well, the problem with that theory, Barry, is that I'm taller than you, whether you like it or not. You could quote any height you're not, but you're not. You were seeing pictures of me and you together, and I towered over you. And I'm not a tall man either, but I towered over you. That's just a fact, son. No, there's a difference. You might be around the same weight that I'm at, but the difference is, son, is that I'm taller than you. My weight seems to be very evenly distributed. Anybody who walk up to me or see me in the street, they would not say, okay, well, we realize you're not 6 foot tall. You're like, 5'6", 5'7", a hair from 5'7", because I have lost a little bit of height because as you get older, you do. Degeneration of bone joints and so forth. Yeah, there was a time I was actually a tits hair from 5'8", which is still not very tall these days. And I did lose a little bit of height having to do with discs, deterioration of disc and all that, which happens as you age. Every one of us, nobody excluded. Nobody. Bummer needs a bigger bra. Yeah, he even said it himself. He's got man boobs. Did he not say that? Is that a lie? If he took off his shirt, you guys would fall off your chairs. I'm sure you would. Because he's got a Homer Simpson body now. He's got a Homer Simpson belly. And he's got man boobs. That means he's got tits. That happens when you gain weight. And when you don't have any muscle tone, Barry, that's what happens. You don't have any muscle tone at all. I do, actually. And no, I don't sit there with 6, what is it? Oh, they happened to catch me. I was just relaxing on my chair and I had these small hand weights. Those are the small ones. No, I do curls with 20-pound weights. I don't normally do it with, what is it? I don't know, what the hell are those little weights? 5 kilos or something? No, I do it with 20-pound weights. I just do that for circulation with the small weights, the hand weights. I'm sitting down. No, I do 20-pound weights. I do curls with 20-pound weights. I'll bet you he couldn't even do that. How many reps I could do with that? So bigger doesn't mean badder, Barry. Let me explain that to you. Bigger doesn't make you tougher. It doesn't make you strong. In fact, it makes you weaker. There's no glory in looking like Homer Simpson. There's no glory in that at all. Pennywise Frankie, you claiming that Obama as your son? You keep calling him son. No, I say that just to piss him off. Just in the South, they don't like to be talked down on saying, son, listen to me, son. I come from that cartoon with, what was the name of that mean old chicken, a rooster? I say, son, I said, now, son, you got to listen to me. Now, son, what was his name, that cartoon character? Yeah, it's kind of like that. No, they talk like that in the South. Listen, son. But, oh, he gets mad when you call him boy. Oh, that's a Southern thing that unfortunately has been used to when white racists are making reference to black people and they call them boys. Oh, he hates if you call him boy, worse than when you call him son. Oh, he gets really perturbed about that. Yeah. I know his name, the rooster. What a weird fucking name it was. What was it? I'll think about it. But that was funny, actually. I say, son. I said, now, son. And that's the way the rooster talked. Yes, Foghorn Leghorn. Thank you very much. Oh, that was Yosemite Sam. Is another thing. No. But no, Foghorn. I don't know where came that name. Foghorn Leghorn. I don't get it. Interesting name, nevertheless. I say, son. I said, now, son, you got to listen to me, boy. It doesn't take much to trigger Barry. It really doesn't. You can almost bet on it. And historically speaking, and it wasn't just with Barry, to be fair about it. There's other people too. Like Popeye doing a simulcast to me right now. Do you know what a joke you are, Robert? Do you know what an absolute joke you are? You're a joke. And you don't even realize it. And people are not laughing with you, Popeye. They're laughing at you because you're so predictable. People have a pretty damn good idea of your life. And Papa, you really haven't made that many accomplishments as you tried to proclaim. All right, you were in the Navy. Then they put you on guard duty. Which more there is to say about that? You might have gotten to travel a couple of places, because, go along with the ship. Where the ship goes, you go. You've never seen action. And you're like an insult to people that actually have seen action. You got to give people credit when it's due. That people were in the front lines. The only line you were in front of was the mess hall, getting your plate of food. Now, I'm not saying that anything you do for the service is not important. Well, what's that saying? It takes a village to raise a child, something to that effect. Everybody contributes in their own way. There is truth to that. And for anybody who thought I thought different, my apologies, but everybody serves a purpose, whether you're a paper pusher, no matter what your position was in the armed service. You didn't have to be in the front lines in order to become part of the whole picture, to pull things together collectively in the armed services, because everybody had a position which may not you think is as important as other people's positions who have rank over you and have more important positions that it would seem to be more important and more responsibilities. My dad was in the Navy. He was just a fireman first class. But yeah, he served. He served. My uncle surprised the hell out of me. This guy was almost a hero in his own rights. He's been celebrated in his town in Pennsylvania. He's like a hero. He was a medic. Yeah. Got shrapnel to prove he was in the front lines as a medic. He served in the Aleutians against the Japanese. Also in what bay was that? I talked about it on a previous show. He's got 7 different awards, medals. So, military is in my family. I've never said I didn't like the military. It's like you may not like the police, for example. But as much as you maybe don't like the police, some people, when you're in trouble and you need help, who do you call? You get on the phone, you call 911. So is this hypocrisy going on here? What is it really? No, it's just a fact. There are good cops. There's a bad cop too on every corner. But they're there for you when you need them. And yes, the military is there to protect the country. But the unfortunate thing, and let me tell you my philosophy about this whole thing, especially now that Trump's in office, is going to be a war. He's pissing off a lot of allies now. And I don't care how big of a wall you make in Mexico, they're still going to find a way to come in. Cockroaches always find a way to get to their food, no matter what obstacles are in the way. They did that in the past with massive tunnels that nobody even knew existed. Guards are being paid off all the time to be allowed to enter the country. The coyotes are still doing their thing. Things are not going to change radically much, but I think what Trump is doing, he's again dividing the country even more. He's clearly a racist. And the helicopter and plane incident, do you remember what he said? Do you remember what he said? Well, why don't you think about what he said? And he made a racist suggestion, shall I call it? He's a racist and a dictator that's now running the country. And you elected him. And if you think people are moving out of the country in droves, more so under his administration, there's going to be more people moving out of the country. Oh, sorry, I didn't read all the comments. Pennywise says Popeye's position was on the the bottom during long sea trips. AJE Anthony says to Brisket, what did Barry say after the first time he had sex? Get off me, Paul. You're crushing my smokes. He's afraid of me. I can pop it. Yeah. I think Frank watches MSNBC a little too much. No. Hey, look, everybody has their own opinion about everything, even on YouTube, okay? And people, believe in their own politics. Who's going to be great for the country and all that. I guarantee you, because of inflation, everything that's going on, and Trump is what he's doing. And as I said, I don't really like to get political on here, but I will today. Because we're doing a show, because this is kind of like a This Is It Michael Jackson thing, pretty much. The fact is that you have a president now. He's been in office before, and I don't know what he's supposed to have done in his past administration that was so great that people thought he was so wonderful. But let's face it, he was responsible for the attack on the Capitol. He absolutely, completely encouraged these people to put attack on the Capitol. And he got away with it, or found a way to talk himself out of this. That's what he did. I understand if you're a Trump supporter, you're going to support everything he says and does, even if you know it's wrong, because you want, hey, okay. Sorry, Gilly getting a visitor here. Dogs are barking. I'm going to have a piece of that happy anniversary cake. And we just started hitting this up. We only had one slice last night because we had we had massive pizza here. And they got full from the pizza. So now I'm going to take a small piece of this cake here. If you don't mind, I'm going to have your expression. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Hello. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. You want a piece of cake?
Yeah.
All right. We'll give you a piece of cake here. Yeah.
I met on Gigi already, huh?
Yeah.
Big house. Unsa man ni siya? Dead end na dito rin eh. Dead end? Ugtong na kadong. Ugtong padong. Ugtong cave gani. Kunya dito rin siya kadong dito. Kadong dito dili. Ati na sila ati. Pero pwede sa tumaagian dito. Ha? Pwede sa tumaagian. Ati na sa tumaagian dito rin. Oh, really? Kano sa amin siya?
Here we go.
Ha? Hindi ka istorya.
Yeah, it's fattening and it has sugar. Sure does. It's our anniversary. I'm going to finish this puppy. Let the girls talk. Oh, man. As Jay does, as he's sucking down his 60th cigarette. Yeah, you go, Jay. Why'd you take the shows off, Jay? Mr. Hit and Run, Jay Stillman, Mr. Hit and Run. It's funny how these people could dish it out, but they can't fucking take it. There's a lot of shit that's been dished out to me, but here I am. After about 10 years on YouTube, here I am. I never ran away with my tail between my legs. I never did that. I'm proud to say that. How many people caved in on YouTube, either by death or, well, they had to, or because they got so overwhelmed with people's opinions? Of course, they were probably negative opinions about the person. But I was in like Flynn. Stayed in the game. Stayed in the game. Here I am. 10 years fucking later. Wow. That's quite an accomplishment, I must say. You should attend Bomber's nuptials. Well, there's a question on that. Jay is gone, walkabout. Yeah, he's a hit and run guy, I call him. And where's our honeymoon going to be? In Vickytown? Hey, Barry, I'll say all the fuck I want about you. The damage is already done for you, bro. You try to talk your way out of a situation, ain't going to work. I know, you inflicted your wife-to-be to inflict some damage to me. But let's see how that's going to turn out. We're not there yet. My lawyer's on a plane today. Today. He'll be in Manila today and tomorrow. He's going to address several issues. Several issues. And one you might be surprised about. Today. Today's the day he's going to Manila. No lies, just fact. That's right. And everybody says I'm so broke. How do I afford this? How do I afford to get my attorney to go on a plane and have accommodations and food and all that? If I'm so goddamn broke, how do I do any of this shit? How? That would seem impossible for somebody like Barry, of course, who depends on his lack of getting Social Security. Barry's got stored up money. Make no bones about it. There's no way that he could afford to send out for his food every day. Because the fact is, his chick, his wife-to-be, she can't afford to buy his Grab lunches every day. Generally, people eat a couple times a day. Is he ordering Grab once a day? I don't know. The last time we heard him speaking, he was on ordering for Grab, and he happened to mention, and I'll get a couple of bags of chips too. Well, you know, Barry, your weight and your situation of being incarcerated, you bring it all on yourself. You're not a big man now because you gained weight. See, let me explain something again. Height, weight, proportion. He's always saying, you must be obese too, Frank, because last time you said how many kilograms you were. I'm about the same, so you must be obese. No, there's a difference, Barry. Barry, listen, dude, there's a difference. You're a fidget. You're a fidget in height. You're about 5'2" at best. And I'm around 5'7". Now, still 5 inches in height, thinking of weight proportion to height, you're obese. And then when Jay came over and you made your appearance on camera, so proud that Jay came over, not Jay, Brevis, Drew Norty came over to visit you and brought you, here we go, the brisket again. Here we go, the brisket. Why is a brisket so important? I think it's kind of a, what would you call it? Symbolization that I'm doing great because I'm eating brisket. Well, he never buy it on his own. But gratis is good. Libre, gratis is good when you don't have to pay for something. Yeah. It's all good. But to clarify, and for the last time, Mr. Jordan, you're fat. You're unhealthy and you're incarcerated. And you've lost your monkey ass mind. You have. People listen to you on there. You make no sense at all on anything you're talking about. You contradict everything you say on here. Oh, no, he's not behind guilty as sin. He's not behind anything. He has more sock accounts than, well, I can't say he has the most sock accounts. I think there are other people that have more sock accounts. It's not like the world is against Frank Battaglia. And by the way, that's not my name. The last name is pronounced Battaglia. It's not Battaglia. It's Battaglia. Just to let you know. And I love the way Barry tries to spell my name. Amazing. I don't know what his educational level is, but I certainly know he didn't finish high school. Again, if you want to be like Don C, show me your diploma. Show me your diploma. Show me something. Well, you know what, Barry? Even you don't have to prove that. Your lack of intelligence says that you didn't finish high school. There you go. Yeah, now that was the funniest thing, Viking. To this day, I'm still laughing. And I suppose I should give thanks to, of all people, Passport TV. Because that was one on the list of many, actually, but one of the funniest things I've seen ever. I'm still laughing at it. He's in his jail cell. I swear to God, he could go scuba diving with those. It probably would work out. It probably would work out. Let me tell you something, Barry. The one thing about you, it's not a good thing, is that you're never going to change. You won't even try to change. And you keep on talking about, oh, Frank is heartless. You know, he has no compassion for anything. I'm compassionate and passionate. I was passionate about being on YouTube for 10 years, despite a lot of negativity. How many people do that? They were long gone, most of these people, and I'm still here. At the moment, I am. Yeah. But look at yourself. You keep on crying about the same. You know, here's the thing, Barry. You tell me, oh, I don't want to talk about him anymore. But then, I mean, I don't say that. I'll talk about you when I want. I'm not going to say I'm not going to talk about you anymore. And if I said that, I made a fool of myself. But he's making a fool of himself every time he comes on because he can't but help doing the show because nobody's going to listen unless he introduces drama, unless he talks about me. He has nothing to say. He never did. He tried to make, I always loved it when he tried to make efforts of trying to get more professional on YouTube, you know, and be a real vlogger. And he tried to make an effort. I got to give him credit. He tried, but he failed. He doesn't have the persona. He doesn't have the personality. He can't ad lib. He can't tell a story. And then he'll put shows on country music. Like, this is the way I feel. He thinks he's Jesse James now. As per the song that he put on. I really like that song because sometimes I feel like Jesse James. You mean an outlaw? Well, you've accomplished that. You got to accomplish that. But a lot of the shit and most of the shit that Barry puts on makes no sense at all. You can't have a show where your main words are, oh, well, and such. Oh, well. That's not a vlogger. He tries to identify in life to somebody he meets. Well, you know, what do you do for a living? And he tries to get this sense of it, spew out the sense of importance. Well, I'm a vlogger. Well, everybody wants to try to identify themselves with something, you know. It's just like I talk about these little social soirees you go to. And one of the biggest questions is, so what do you do? As I said, I would joke around and say, what do I do about what? Brisket says he should play Johnny Cash's song, A Boy Named Sue. Oh, yeah. A Boy Named Sue. This wouldn't be Bill, would it? Anyway, I buried the hatchet with a good old friend of mine, Bill, from Washington State. And it was good. We both have a great sense of humor. I've talked to him at length the other day. See how he's doing and all that. See, I have compassion for people. I have a heart. Even though me and Bill, for example, he's from Washington State. He lives out in the Ocean Shores area. You know, even though we haven't talked for a while and we had a little bit of adversity with each other, you know, we were adult enough to bury the hatchet and call bygones bygones. We're both getting older and a lot of nonsense has gone, you know, passed under the river. A lot of shit. And we buried the hatchet, which is what you need to do. Because so much shit that we talk about and do is so insignificant in life that when you realize, and you're only going to realize this if you have a real big mental problem, that life is so goddamn short. And when I see people like losers like Popeye, who's simulcasting my show right now, That's all the proof I need. These people are actually losers. By definition of the word, they are losers. I'm a winner. And I can give you lots of reasons why I'm a winner. But I could start with a few. I've lasted 10 years on YouTube despite significant adversity. I did not run away with my tail between my legs, and I never will, and I'm not now running away from anything. I think I made myself abundantly clear on my position on here on YouTube and what I think about certain YouTubers, trolls, and whatnot. I still adhere to the statements I made about the very people who try to find fault with me when the fact is their life is full of faults. They're not living the life that they claim they are. They're just not. If they got that much time on their hands, well beyond the time I spend on YouTube, I'm not literally sitting there waiting to somebody of some notoriety, bad or good, whatever you want to call it, puts on a show like Popeye or Barry or something. No, I'm just going on my day. If I happen to catch their show live, I don't have a note. I do not set my notification button on there at all. And if I catch their show, I catch their show. And if I don't catch it then, I could always catch it at another time if they don't pull it off. Now, there's a reason, as I said, I take my shows down. There's a reason, because I don't need them on. I'm not looking to get monetized. Because even if I want to review my own show, I just go to Popeye or this so-called replay channel. If I missed a note on something I said, I just go there. You see, it's called third party. And they think that's evidence. It's not evidence. Third party is not evidence. It's not. I hate to, enlighten you, but third party is not evidence in a court of law. I'll sometimes take my show off. I thought it was, to me, by my standards, kind of boring. And because I'm not, seeking a future in YouTube and monetization. Now, if you listen to Philippine Antics, which is a joke show, but two very unusual characters, I have to agree with something that she said, that you're not going to get rich on YouTube, no matter what. You're just not. She admits that, hey, she does this because, well, the fact is she's not very mobile, same as Popeye, nothing different. She likes to create gab, and she enjoys doing it. She admits it. At least she admits it. I'm not a fan of Philippine Antics, but at least she admits that this is what she does with her time, and she enjoys doing it because she don't have much of a choice, because apparently her husband, boyfriend, whatever he is, George, is busy with other things. He has another gaming channel or something. He makes money on or something. I don't know. Supposedly he has some kind of job. I don't know what the hell he does. So George is not always there. She has to do something. She has to be afraid of leaving her door, because if she trips, she's gonna knock out her hips, or worse. And she's tripped before. So I have to give her credit for one thing. Besides having the gift of gab, which is either good or bad, according to what you're gabbing about, she at least has the balls, and she might literally actually have, for all I know, but she has the garnules to get on her show and admit that, hey, I enjoy doing this. Because, what else is she going to do with her life? And I understand that. If you're like Popeye, I guess you got to look at it in that way too. What else does he have to do with his life? Everybody has to have something to look forward to. If it means simulcasting somebody's show or creating hate shows against somebody, it involves a lot of their time. Which brings me to that thought again, or philosophy, that, time is so short. Do something positive with it. Anything, really. Viking said 100% true. Viking says, you stayed on through good times and bad times. Yes, I did. That's my point I'm making here. There's that number 13 again, 14 now. Then they laugh. It simply means that there's certainly 13 people out there that are avid viewers. I can tell you that. Others could be transient viewers. It's not like my numbers were always low. I used to get 45s and stuff on here. And for a small grassroots type channel, that's more than adequate. Because when you look at the numbers later on, when you keep your show on, you'll see the numbers and how many people have actually viewed your channel, your show anyway. And the numbers are far greater than that. That doesn't mean that they're all on when I do a show. They're not always all on. That's when you see the numbers on here. There's 14, whatever. Not everybody's on at the same time. So you give it a few days, you'll see the numbers absolutely rising. So it's not like I have that little bit of viewers. I got enough. It just shows out after a few days or so. People are not always there. They don't set their clocks like these desperate trolls do. To set their clocks and the notification bells and the alarms go off in their bathroom, no matter where they are. Frank's online, Frank's online. In mid-shit. They stop in mid-shit to go grab the phone and record or go listen to it. In mid-shit. They probably even take their phones into the bathroom while they're taking this shit because they don't want to miss a lick. Okay, AGG. And FIW. Frank, you put himself out there, his name, his face, never ran away from anyone. You're right. AJG says, Frank reminds me of Donald Trump. They tried to put him away, but he kept coming back. Don't even compare me to Donald Trump. He's a chump. So one thing I can say about my illustrious YouTube career, I let it all hang out. I really wasn't worried about what people say because only I know myself better. And you can call me any name in a book and label me this and that, but the question is it the truth? Okay? If it's not the truth, they just wasted a lot of time. Now, remember, you don't have to prove yourself here on YouTube. There's no law that says you have to prove or have to rebuttal somebody else's opinion or something. There's no, it's more of a choice that you make to address an issue on here. You don't have to address it at all. And I never had to I didn't have to address anything on here, but I came right forward, grabbed the bull by the horns, man. And I basically addressed what people had to say. And also, as I said, you don't have to prove nothing on here. There's really nothing to prove. Only I know my life, what makes me happy, what has carried me along all these years as a YouTuber and outside of YouTube, what keeps me floating, what keeps me ticking. I've made it. I've done it. 10 years on fucking YouTube, man, despite the adversity. Got to say something about that. I'm not like Jay, tucking his tail between his legs and pulls off all his videos. Didn't you, Jay? You came out there and you got worried. You got worried that I was going to talk to the immigration about the possibility of you having epilepsy, and you shut your mouth, didn't you? And I also set you straight on a lot of things you talked about me. Didn't I, Jay? I certainly did. That's who I am. That's my capabilities. That's what I'm able to do. If I really wanted to manipulate people on here, it is so goddamn easy to trigger somebody. Now, as I said, there's a method behind my madness. I knew damn well that if I presented the truth about Barry, I know he'd do a show, historically speaking. There'd be a show to follow. Or like even Popeye. Even Don C's comments. Don Crawford, by the way, is his name. Donald Crawford. These people are not living the lives that they're portraying on here. If he's that busy at his age of still being a businessman online, where does he find the time to do business online when all he's doing is waiting for me to put a show on that he could comment on or go on somebody's live stream and make all his rude and crude comments? I told you, there's a story behind all these people. Every one of them. Brisket says, Frank sails on an ocean of tears from his enemies. AJG says, speaking of Barry, when's the next court date? It's in March. It's in March. I don't have an exact date, but I guess you have to find out for yourself. The case continues. And I told the truth. There was not a peep, not even a cricket sound, from his lawyer. And there were certain protocols his lawyer was supposed to do, and he didn't do it. Barry thinks he could be a Perry Mason. Oh, get me up there and I'll testify for myself. I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them. Yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to throw a charge seat in front of them like you tried to do last time? Yes, I believe it is my turn for testimony. Oh, it's my turn for testimony. I can't wait. I wish I could push the clock. I wish I could get to that March hearing. It'll be here soon enough. I'll get to testify. And I want to say again, Dumbo, when you pleaded guilty, whether you like it or not, you pleaded guilty to all 5 charges. Yes, the wheels justice turn slowly, you're right. The court date will be bummers. No, he's supposed to get married on the 22nd of this month, not March. This month. I am, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is February 22nd. Oh, he said he's catering food there. It's a fucking jail cell, man. It's a detention center. He's going to order food. Well, who's going to pay for that? Oh, I know. You're still going to stick to the story. I'm not getting my Social Security. But then he did come out and say that I finally got it through, folks. But then he changes back again. That I'm not getting my Social Security. Which is it, Barry? Tell us, which is it? What's your story this time? You can't order Grab food without you having Social Security disability because your girlfriend can't afford to do that for you all the time. She's not rich. She runs a sorry store. I'll venture to say she's not making that kind of money that she could afford to buy store-bought things to bring in for you and men in underarm deodorant and all kinds of stuff like that, shampoos and stuff, and also pay for your Grab. I don't think so. It's coming from your Social Security because if you remember, folks, it wasn't that long ago he said, oh, it finally came through. Or he had trouble getting the money. But he says he's got a ton of money waiting for him when he goes back to Alabama. And he said things like he's waiting for his cousin to win the lottery. Like, what the fuck? Is it his inert psychology balanced against the increased mental breakdowns and that he's having from being incarcerated? I'm sorry, I'm not being very eloquent here. Because it has taken a toll on him. You've been listening to him for almost 22 months. This month, 27, will be 22 months of being incarcerated. Did you know that he wrote me under the name of Joe Green? I really wish I had it in front of me. Oh, you should have seen the threats he made. Joe Green, he went under another name, Joe Green. It was exactly his language, how he would talk. It was him. I said, I know it's you. Stop pretending. And I'm using this evidence. I copied it. He made a threat that if he sees me, he's going to do this and that in the streets. And that he would also do it to my girlfriend if she opened her mouth. That's what he said. That's what he said. But he went under Joe Green. And I know it was him 100%. I know how he talks. I know his little verbiage. It was him. And I really wish I could do a screen-on-screen thing here. I'm not able to do that. But I've gotten letters from numerous people that I know are the same person, Barry. It had to do everything from threatening me to drop the case, which I think you know by now, Mr. Jordan, I am not dropping this case. Never will. Oh, AJB says, is Shaw registered for gifts? in the registry. AJG says, but Barry has to actually be there to sign for the money. He says, yeah. Never heard of electronic signature or electronic fund transfer. Right. Well, how the hell do you think I got my money from the sale of my house in Hawaii? It was electronic transfer into my account. Then you have to explain to the bank, where's this large sum of money coming from? And you had to show proof that you had sale of. That's how it happened. Because here in the Philippines, you get a relatively large sum of money. They're going to want to know, is it drug money? Because they're really big on that shit here in the Philippines. You had to show them the paperwork that you had a sale of a house. Now, nevertheless, we're talking about electronic signature, electronic transfer, actually. That's how you get it. It's done every day. It's done every day. And by the way, although people think that I owe money out, I actually have somebody that owes me money that committed estafa. You never hear me talk about that, do you? Several million in pesos, several. That's right. To be exact, 2.5 million pesos. And we went to the barangay just the other day, and the person's being summoned today about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So you think I owe money out to everybody? No. As far as the civil case in Hawaii, it goes to the collection agency. There's no warrant for my arrest if I decide to make a trip to Hawaii. No warrant for my arrest. It's civil. Criminal? Yes. But no, it's not criminal. It's civil. And the people involved, just like his girlfriend's bogus complaint against me, it's the same difference. These people made a very frivolous, bogus allegations against me that nothing ever happened at all the way it was described on paper and otherwise. Nothing. They were looking for a free ride in life. They were looking for a paycheck. That's all it was. Nothing more than that. Needless to have to even talk about that again. However, it's kind of the same thing that's going on here with him. A lot of allegations he's making against me. And my allegations were real and proven. He claims that I never told my girlfriend to do anything, which we know is a complete crock of shit. We know that. The same as he says he doesn't lie. He's never told a lie on his show. All right, you can hold back the laughs on that one. He's never hurt anybody in the Philippines. He never took any money from anybody in the Philippines. Lies, lies, and nothing but lies. He's been getting through life on these lies. And he actually found a woman that was willing to marry him. But the unfortunate thing about this, and the reason I'm laughing about this, I still have that percentage of doubt. This is not just a scam on Barry, from Barry, that he's actually getting married. If it happens, it happens. I'm not in the way of his marriage. In fact, like I said, I look forward to that happening because I know, sequentially, I know what's going to be happening, the domino effect, if he marries this woman. She's going to regret it the rest of her life for obvious reasons. She's not with a real person. She's not with an honest person. And unfortunately, he is absolutely, again, using her as a tool. And I think that's, despite what you may think I do or do not feel about his girlfriend in light of the fact she put a complaint against me. Despite that, and put that to the side, just put it totally to the side, just for a moment. And you're probably going to say, Frank, don't feel sorry for her. Well, I don't. But all I've ever done, and that happened with Sheila's situation, it wasn't just me. A lot of people try to enlighten Sheila and other women so they didn't get hurt down the line. That's all it was. There's nothing more or less than that. Nothing more or less. We knew what was going to happen if they stayed with him. We knew it before it even happened. Get an understanding on where I stand on this. She's a Filipina in general. It doesn't matter if she's the person that put a report as per Barry's request on me. She's still a Filipina, full of emotion, full of hopes and dreams to marry that foreigner. No matter what the reason is, she's getting older. Filipinos have lots of reasons why they will settle for somebody. Well, if you have to settle for somebody, at least upgrade your choice is all I'm saying. Upgrade your choice. Yeah, I'm wondering about that too, AG. Maybe it's just a commemorate, kind of a ceremonial thing, you know. That's obvious that, you know, me and Gilda are not married to each other, but we have done our own ceremonial thing. We have. And our 9th anniversary was yesterday. And we did our own ceremonial thing with the cake and all that. We had a little pizza party here and, you know, our own spoken words off camera and to each other. We've done our own ceremonial thing. Now, the one thing that caught my attention was that he was saying that he doesn't know if he's going to get permission to broadcast his wedding. That brought a lot of suspicion to me. Like the guards would say something about it that you can't do that. But wait a minute. Hold the horses. But yet it's okay for the guards to allow him to do shows and defecate on me and my partner and to continue calling me a pedophile. That's okay, but the guards may or may not allow him, or immigration may not allow him to do his ceremonial show or his real wedding, whatever it's going to be. That doesn't make any sense at all. Do you think he's thrown you all a bone or something? What do you think is going on with that? Will this be a real marriage? If so, will he show the marriage certificate? Or actually, will it turn out to be, well, sorry, folks, I was going to broadcast this, but they won't allow me to do that. Well, it's never stopped him before on what he broadcasts. By calling me a fucking child molester, it never stopped him that. So why would it stop him from putting his marriage on camera? I would not be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I would not be surprised that he comes up with some excuse. Oh, sorry, folks, I couldn't put it on camera. Just like he lied about him breaking up with his girlfriend. Of course, that turned out to be a lie, as everything else is. He lied about that. AG say, but it won't be a legal wedding. If no video, then it's a sham, Pennywise says. I agree. I agree. But let's get into this whole concept of him getting married. And where do I stand on this? And people are saying that I don't want him to get married, or I'm afraid of him to get married. He's going to get free. No, he's not. One thing has nothing to do with the other. I actually encourage, and I'm saying this with total truth and for reason, I hope he does. Don't be against it, folks. Let them get married if they could. Because the train ride and the train wrecks will continue. And if you like drama, beyond that point, you'll get future drama. Because as you know, let's look at the sensibility meter on here, okay? The sensibility of doing so. Let's make believe that this is a meter. That needle is going to go all the way up to its highest point once he's married. Because it makes no sense at all other than the fact that he thinks it's going to be advantageous to get married to her. They talked about it. They agreed on it. This is going to help my situation, honey dear, my wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous girlfriend. This is going to help me get a stay. And guess what? He got it all figured out. That he'll be able to get a 13A. No, you won't. That's where I know I'm right. Besides the monetary expenses involved in there. No. No. Just because you married a chick does not mean that you are going to be able to, manipulate the system to be able to get a 13A. Under normal circumstances, it's a process to get a 13A. It's a process. But he does not have the prerequisites. Again, there's financial responsibility. There's a lot of things. He's going to do this. He's got it all figured out. He sat there with his learned girlfriend, or whoever is advising him is giving him wrong information. Go look up the prerequisites, requirements, and everything else to get a 13A, and then kind of like segue it with his situation and position right now. No. He thinks it's going to get him to stay in the country despite his summary deportation, despite any conviction that might be bestowed upon him by his, situation in court and so forth. All he has is hopes and dreams. And there's nothing wrong to have hopes and dreams. I salute him, actually, for having hopes and dreams. But there's also something called reality. You got to think on the reality factor, not the hopes and dreams. What is, and what's not is not, okay? Pennywise says, marriage is to secure that somebody might bring him food every meal. He is hedging his bet in case he is found guilty and gets prison time. Pennywise, AJG said to Pennywise, I've never seen a single YouTuber who didn't film their visa run. Not one. They all film it for content. Yeah. Plus, he says, I guarantee Frank's an overstayer. No, I'm not. I'm not an overstayer at all. I'm still legal. I'm not an overstayer. And don't put all your eggs in one basket, Barry. You're so sure I'm going to get deported. Don't be so sure, but don't hold your breath on that either. Don't hold your breath. And if it turns out to be the opposite of what you're hoping for, boy, you're going to be embarrassed. But no, I'm not an overstayer. I'm not on that status. I'm not an overstayer. You're just hoping and wishing all the worst on me, aren't you, Barry? But you're wasting all your time doing that because, when he makes this statement that I'm so stupid and I'm a moron and all that, I'm going to say the same thing I say all the time. Who's the one that's sitting in a jail cell for almost 22 months? I can't be that much of a moron if I got you in that position, buddy. And he's sitting from there, and he is frustrated. I mean, the dude is so fucking frustrated. You could hear it in his voice. And don't you love that little hillbilly laugh of his? I got to make a loop of that sometime. That little, I forgot how he does it. I can't exactly duplicate it. It's a real hillbilly thing, It takes me to hillbilly to be able to pull that off, and I'm not a hillbilly. But it's funnier than shit. Oh, he was so proud when Jay came in and fed him. Not Jay. I keep on saying Jay. When Brevis came in, Drew Northey came in. I had to look at that twice. Is that the same dude that I saw in a courtroom how many months back? The guy gained phenomenal weight, and he's so proud to say that I'm like 173 pounds at 5'2". That's nothing to boast about, bro. I'm barely 5'7" these days. And I weigh about, actually, I'm actually down to about 168, 169 actually right now. The difference is, Goober, I'm taller than you. Whether you like it or not, and make all these claims that you tower above me, people have met you, Barry. I have met you. You're a little gremlin. You're a gremlin. And when you're a gremlin and you're weighing 173 pounds, son, you're obese. Now, if I had my other phone, I never use it, charged up, I could just go and show you something that talks about what's obesity. What is your body mass index, Barry? You're way over. You're probably at about a 28 on the scale, on a body mass index. Probably about a 28. Let me see, what's this? I can't read. He made the same sound the first time he sat on his father's lap. Know what I'm saying? I won't make a comment on that. I'll refrain. It's funny, though. It's funny. As I said, and I have every right to say that the apple usually does not fall far from the tree. Nope. It's unfortunate for his girlfriend that he found somebody who was rather gullible and naive, and a lot of Filipinos are like that. They're thinking with their heart rather than reality, and that could hurt. That's something that, when it comes to a long-term relationship, and even getting married to somebody, you gotta kind of put in those factors. Like, what the hell am I doing? And I talk about this a lot, and I really mean it when I say this. Why? What is in for it for a chick to marry? There's so many men out there that want Filipinas, can't even count. Oh, by the way, before I continue with that, my ADDH here, Ricky would say that the Philippines is gone for women. No, it's gone for him. Remember, Ricky has to pay for the women that he's with. He doesn't have a choice, or he will spend the rest of his short life a very lonely man. Continued. This is what people do when they can't get a woman. And look at that. We got freaking, what's his face? Popeye's son that he never wanted. Excuse me. In love with his grass. Everything is she with him. Everything is she. The grass, the blades of grass is a she. And then he's putting coats of varnish on the wood for a fence. Oh, I think she's going to look really good. What is this thing with she? Is that the only relationship he could have, is with some varnish on his wood and the blades of grass he's growing? And he makes a connotation between a sex to some inanimate object or a blade of grass. What is that saying? Everything is she to him, because that's the closest he's going to get to a fucking female. And there's something to be some Freudian thing in this somewhere. I don't know. Where he's labeling everything as she. And you know who I'm talking about. It's pathetic. Burping. When he sat on his father's... Huh? Hold on, folks. Okay, well, go enjoy. Okay. Have fun. Her friend here is in town for a short time. Going to show her around a couple of places, go to some resort just to bullshit, have breakfast, whatever you want. But, you know, it's everything is so much bullshit on YouTube that it's, you know, it's fun for a while, but then it gets really old. And I can't say, and in all honesty, I've had a lot of enjoyment on here, despite the adversities. I've had a lot of enjoyment. I actually like vlogging. I admit it. But it comes a time when you've spent a decade, realistically a decade, vlogging on here. It comes a time and say, well, I don't know. Everybody seems to know everything about everybody else. It must be true. All right, baby. Love you. Be careful. Okay. It comes a time to say, I've heard it all. How many times can you listen to somebody rehashing old hash about, what does it take to meet a Filipina? How much does it take to live in the Philippines? They just rehash old hash over and over and over again, just like Barry does on his shows. Everything is Frank Battaglia, although he doesn't pronounce my name right. Neither does anybody else. How many times can you say the same shit over and over and over again and not bore your audience? He gets people to come to his show, but then you look at the numbers after a relatively short time of doing a broadcast, and you watch the numbers start going down rapidly. Why? Because
we just say, take a picture, huh?
go take a picture in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, remembrance.
Remembrance. Okay.
Remembrance, and I will let Gina.
This may account for Barry's constant need to clear his throat. Oh, Brisket said first to Anthony, said the first time is the hardest. Maybe Daddy was too rough and pushed Bummers prostrate into his throat. No comment on that, Brisket, but thank you for sharing. Anthony says that may account for Barry's constant need to clear his throat. Oh, the other thing. Again. Hey, Clint. Again. The last show he did, he again was talking about guys' dicks. And there might be something to what you say there. Might be something to what you just said, dude. But how many times can a male come on his show and talk about come and suck my dick? Something wrong with that picture. If I didn't know any better, there's something to show for it. Something to say about that. Somebody made a very rude comment on here several shows back. Now, this didn't come out from my mouth. Someone said, how do we know that she doesn't have a dick? Well, I thought that was a rude comment, And I could say something to that, but I'm certainly not going to. I don't know. Then the comment was continued. It was about 5 shows ago or something. The comment was continued and saying, well, maybe that's why he keeps on saying for me to come over and suck his dick, or anybody else that gets mad at he wants everybody to suck his dick. Is there something to this? I don't know. Brisket says, Bummer struggles with the fact that he enjoyed his playtime with Daddy and he wants to experience more with other men. It's disgusting. Again, no comment on that, Brisket. No comment on that whatsoever. I'm not that stupid. I could say a whole lot of things, but I'll refrain from that. I have my own thoughts and opinions about him, and I adhere to my thoughts and opinions, and I make them based on actual experience with the guy, with his running mouth and what he's put on YouTube and what he's said and done. I at least go by facts, not hearsay. Brisket said, I think I made that comment, Frank. I'm a horrible person. No, don't make you a horrible person. It just made people think, perhaps. All right, have a good time, babe. Okay, nice meeting you. Bye-bye. We may be surprised about a lot of things, Pennywise says, I think that's the reason Obama keeps antagonizing Frank from behind bars so he can stay in detention to be with other men. Again, I'm not going to make comment on that. I'm certainly willing to have people have their own opinions on my show, and I'm not going to block them for it. He knows. Anthony says he knows it's awful. Well, Barry, I'm going to address you directly again, and we're over the 2 hour mark, and that's okay. I'm going to address something on here. Despite all your adversity to me, and you're claiming that I put you there. No, as far as your immigration's concerned, yes, I had my hand in there of you getting arrested. I certainly did. I admit that it was planned. Oh, believe me, it went like clockwork. It was a work of art. How it all came together. Nobody was paid off. There was no money in anybody's hands. You had to follow the protocol. He had to be under observation prior to the arrest to make sure that he was indeed staying over his girlfriend who harbored and aided and abetted him. Well, she's claiming that she didn't, but it's exactly what she did. And it's noted, believe me, it's noted. That's all you need to know is it's noted. No further to finish that sentence or paragraph on that. It's noted, very well noted. Yeah. That was planned out. It was fine-tuned. My lawyer even came to witness the arrest, where he was staying, whose place he was staying at. They even knew how long he was there. See, they just can't come to arrest you on an immigration issue unless they know they're not going to spend their time coming all the way from Cebu and come out there and the person is not there. They have to be sure that this person has been residing in a particular residence of a particular person before they can make the actual arrest. And when it came to the point that from their surveillance, and there was surveillance going on prior to the arrest, 2 times actually they came out there, not the whole crew, but 2 times they came out there to make sure where he was residing, whose place it was that he was residing at. This was probably the most planned mission that I ever was involved with. And it worked like clockwork. It was artful. So I guess my art degree amounted to something after all, Don. It was an art. It was poetry in motion. We got him. He denied till the cows came home prior to that he was never an immigration overstayer. He claims that his girlfriend knew this. That's what he claims anyway. She knew it. That's why she was harboring him. It's exactly what she did. Okay, I guess I should read comments. We're kind of getting on the time thing here. Bummer has no teeth, so he is popular in detention for his smooth gums. Okay, I'm just reading your comment, that's all. HAG says, talking to Brisket and lottery tickets, possibly a butt plug. Again, no comment on that. Pennywise says it was a SEAL team. 6 planning. Oh, it almost was. Oh, and he claims that I paid these people off and all this other shit. That's all bullshit. See, in order for somebody to make an arrest against a long-term overstayer, they can't just come there without knowing the details, how long they've overstayed. There has to be, from the top, there has to be a, what do you call, it's the signing of an arrest warrant, basically, where they have come to a resolution that this guy is overstaying and that they are going to plan to deport him. They have to start the arrest process first. This was planned. It was artful. It was like the best thing I've ever done on here. Paying attention to detail and having something come through, just like him having 5 charges against him. I didn't say it was easy. Never said that. You have to convince a prosecutor beyond doubt to put together a resolution. And putting together a resolution simply means that you come up with enough evidence to believe that this person should go to court. And they did. Henceforth, he has 5 criminal charges against him right now, and maybe more. That's another story. I'm waiting to see what happens with something else. I think you know what I'm referring to before the second case goes in. It's already rubber stamped everything. It's already written out. I'm just waiting to see what happens with the other thing. And by golly, by George, that's going to happen. Okay, Viking Son. Oh, Pennywise. Frank is an American hero for catching a predator in the Philly Willy. Viking Son says, you took the predator out of the society. People are safer now because of you. Very well said. And you are very well, you are correct. I think I did the community a service, not a disfavor. I did the people on the streets, in bars, or in his relationships. I did them all a favor, so he doesn't hurt anybody else. Yeah, Clint says, she really does look like Abraham Lincoln, though. I have no comment on that either. I'll respect your opinions on here, but I'm not going to react to them. Got to keep things legal. Anthony says, can you imagine being in Barry's position and Frank files a second case against him? Well, you could imagine. It might be actually true. It's ready to go. I said, I'm just waiting on the other thing. What happens with her complaint? And I hate to say this, but she involved herself in this too. And what happens with her later on? There's no threats being made to her. That's absurd. Never made a threat to her. Only things I talk about are legal matters. I never made a threat to her, ever. And I'm not threatening her now, and I'm never going to threaten her. I'm not that stupid. She got herself involved with the wrong guy. She got herself involved making the wrong decision to cooperate with him as an effort to try to discredit me as a foreigner living out here in the Philippines, trying to paint the picture that I'm an undesirable. Oh, and I suppose your boyfriend is a desirable in any form or way? Who are you to talk and say? Who are you to talk and say? Look who you're getting married to. The biggest fucking loser expat in the fucking Philippines. A lot to say about that. AJG says, maybe having to wait another 2 years for a resolution. Yeah, anything's possible. Well, Barry, you got yourself into all this shit. Stop pointing the finger to me, man. Oh, yeah, I had something to do with getting you in there, but for rightful reasons. When I say crossing the line, I mean you crossed the line by miles. And you had the stupidity for a man that keeps on talking about, I want out of here. I spent enough time incarcerated. You're the one preaching all this thing about you want your freedom, you want to go home. I get it. But Barry, ask yourself this question. What are you doing to achieve that? Oh, you think by marrying your girlfriend, charges can be dropped and they're going to just send you home? I really don't think that's the way it's going to happen. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion on that. I just don't see it happening that way. If anything, you just put yourself in deeper shit. You can't help but talk about me when you do a show, and it's always something negative. I understand you're bitter about your situation, but you should have thought about it before you did what you did, said what you said. And your threats, that's worse than the current cyber libel issues I have on you right now. So imagine if I do put the second case in, as I said, it's according to what happens with your girlfriend's complaint. It's out. It's going to be out there. There will be a second case. And if you're complaining about your loss of freedom now, shit, consider being incarcerated your home. As it's become right now, it's getting close to 2 years coming up soon. 2 years because you opened your fucking mouth. You didn't know how to shut your mouth. It's moving on 2 years. Soon enough. Did you? Oh, his statement. I'm never going to learn anything. I'll never. That's the problem. The problem is you're never going to learn. Viking says there will be no wedding. How do I answer that? It's quite possible there could be. I don't know what he did to do that. I know that there's really no law if you have a case against you that you can't get married in the Philippines. There are some aspects of the law that says he could, but there is some complications in there. And even my lawyer is scratching his head saying, I still don't think he could. Let me research this, he said. So it might be a fly in the ointment on that one. I think if anything, it's going to be well, two things. It's going to be kind of a ceremonial type of thing. Or it could be an actual marriage. Okay. It's one or the other. And put a third in there that he's going to come up and say, well, sorry, folks, I couldn't show the wedding on camera like I promised you. Immigration wouldn't allow me. Oh, but immigration, again, would allow him to use his phone for the purposes of defaming me, harassing and bullying me, but that's going to be okay with the immigration, considering that he has 5 charges for such right now, and he's still allowed to use his phone. So immigration is going to step in and say, no, you can't photograph the wedding. You can't videotape this wedding. That's bullshit. If they allow him to do what he's doing now, then why wouldn't they allow him to put a live on there with his wedding? Think about that. Hey, Frank, I have a third case on hand, ready to be filed. Anthony says, Lord knows Barry has provided you with enough evidence. Oh, absolutely. More than I need. His threats, and they're coming through emails, guys. I'm not kidding you. He's under the pretense of somebody else. Anybody can make an email account with any name they want. They can have multiple email accounts. His latest one was Joe Green. Joe Green. Mean Green Joe. Okay. And I swear, I wish I had just hard copied it so I could read it. What he had to say on there. But every one of these emails I've ever received, same person who sent it. Except one of them was not him. It was probably Brevis, one of them. Because Barry does not possess the, he doesn't have a grip on the English language very well. So I would know it didn't come from him. It's very easy to tell. I mean, my God, it's so easy to tell whether it's from him or not. But the one I got from Joe Green and a couple of other ones on there, that was him. There was no doubt about it. He talked about the same things he normally talked about, the same phrases he uses, the same kind of hillbilly language. It was him. And you know what I did with that? Just yesterday, I sent it to one of the lawyers. And they could make the correlation that it was him, even without his name being on the sender on there. He talked about the same shit. Whatever he says on his show is where he kind of went with these emails. That's how I knew it was him. He thinks he could hide who he is. And people in the legal field can't put 2 and 2 together, but that's what he's thinking anyway. Let him think what he wants. But the reality of his situation is such You are incarcerated, Barry. You admit that you committed a crime. The court heard it. I heard it. You pleaded guilty. And as such, it's sort of kind of a done deal. I don't know what miracles you're expecting. I don't know if you are trying to weigh very heavily on your potential marriage to this very confused woman. And what hold you got on her, I really don't know. And I really don't care, actually. But I will tell you that what you are potentially doing, sir, by getting her to marry you, if that does actually indeed happen, you are not doing a justice to her at all. You're doing an injustice from everything I've said before. And I meant it. There's no divorce in the Philippines. You put her in a bad position if you get married to her. Again, I have nothing against a marriage. I'm going to laugh my ass off if he gets married because I know better. I know what's going to happen. As time goes by, it's going to be the biggest regret, the biggest mistake that she ever made, besides putting a complaint on me. It'll be the biggest mistake that she's ever made in her life. Watch it. If he still does YouTubing after a while, wait and see. Getting married under false pretenses, claiming you got love and all that shit. He doesn't know what love is if it bit him on the fucking nose. He has no clue what love is. He can't show it, he can't display it, and he can't feel it. Well, the reason now I'm doing an extra long show is I just want to get it all out. I just want to get it all out. That's why I'm doing this. And just kind of present my final thoughts on all this in detail, not leaving anything out. There are those who can, and there are those who cannot. And that applies to a lot of different subject matters and issues and so forth. Getting married is not going to solve all your problems. If you would think I have a problem with this whole thing, well, let me explain something. Not eat too fast. Having a bowl of cereal here. The only problem I have with this, to be honest, in general, she's a Filipina. Don't have to put a name or face to a woman. She's a Filipina. Gullible and naive as I think she is, and that's my opinion, is that in general, I feel sorry for any Filipina who's going to marry a guy for the wrong reasons. And have to suffer the consequences down the line. Stephens even says here, someone asked him about when he gets married, can he stay in the country? And he said, yes, he will get this 13A. He has no clue what he's talking about. That's what I was talking about earlier in the show, about the 13A. He's not going to get a 13A. That I will guarantee you. There's no fucking way in hell. And if that's his plan, wow, he's very misinformed. Stefan says, can you imagine that wedding photo? Wow. Who wants to get married in a fucking jail cell? It has to be for a reason.
What? I can't wait until he gets his freedom. Says something right there. You mean to tell me you can't wait? You're expecting his freedom. Why can't it wait? I'll tell you why. The reason why is because he thinks that if he gets married to her, he's going to get some special privileges. To get to stay in the Philippines and not get deported. Oh,
Waterman's here. Hold on, guys. Okay. That's all we got is 4.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Water time. Usually we have about 5 bottles or so out here. So let me continue on with my little ranting, if you want to call it.
you're not going to get a dirty today. And getting married to her is not going to be as advantageous as you think it is. As I started to say earlier, that you can feel sorry for a Filipino for engaging in such a precious institution as marriage. When you're marrying a guy that's in an institution, it fuck up your whole life. Whole life. Whole fucking life. HHE says, maybe the jail has a small statue of the Virgin Mary outside and they'll take photos next to that. Superman says, doesn't his passport expire soon? Yeah. I don't know, last I heard. That was then. I don't know, he has like 5 months, 4 months left. In actuality, you're supposed to renew your passport minimum of 5 months before it expires. 5 months. I think that's a fact. In fact, I know it is. Pardon me. Multitasking. They don't like when I eat on camera, but he can run his mouth on camera. I can eat on camera. If I'm hungry, I eat. Whether I'm doing a YouTube show or not, it is what it is. Know what I'm saying? So I want to try to bring a conclusion to all this. Barry, you know, whatever's going to happen is happening. Yeah, I want this over with just as much as you do, man, if not more. But, you know, I'm going the distance, especially the fact that you coerced your girlfriend. It's on tape. They got it. That was brought over to immigration, too. Everything, in fact, is being brought over today. Today. Like the lip smacking? Here's more for you. Today. I'm not telling you all the issues why my lawyer is going to Manila today. No, we're not going to do that. But there are a few things that's being addressed while he's going to be there that I won't talk about on here. I'm doing an extra long show today because I just want to let it all hang out. That Popeye's even simulcasting me. I hold that much of importance to these people. Isn't that amazing? I find it fascinating. Super says, If he really doesn't have a lawyer anymore, he'll never get out of there. Well, you see, I'm not satisfied, to be honest with you, with the original affidavit against him. I'm not really. This is so too. There should have been at least 20 different charges. And the only reason there isn't is there's just too much to address. And like, the threat things are kept separate, except it is mentioned on the affidavits on the threats. So it's not like it's out of there. But you need a whole separate case to address the threats, which have a lot more oompa than this particular cyber libel. This guy, and you heard it all recently, right? Of course I recorded it. It's in the hands. It's already on a memory card. Admits, like an idiot and moron that he is. That's right. I'm inciting people to cause harm on you. I've got the exact words. What a moron. He's in no position to say that. I mean, that goes to show how much he thinks about himself. He keeps on talking about this freedom shit left and right. But what are you doing to earn your freedom, Nimrod? What are you doing? That's why I said, Digger should be his name. I had another new name for him that I think really was befitting, but I forgot what it was, and I really wish I could remember that. It was really befitting. But Digger was a good one because I've never seen anybody dig such a deep hole on himself. Look, I don't know the outcome of all this shit. Neither does anybody else. I certainly don't know, and I'm involved in this. I don't know. But I could speculate all I want to. But I don't know. But I could probably assure you that is my opinion that he will get some kind of prison time. And I'll tell you what, I'll be the first to be totally shocked if that didn't happen. I'd be totally shocked. I don't think that's what's going to happen. He's not going to be exonerated by a judge. I just don't see that happening. I just don't see it at all. Now, remember I said I don't feel that we did. I don't. That's why we're going to introduce more evidence on this. Just like the tapes and whatnot, where he said that he's not going to stop. What was I going to tell the judge? He's not going to stop. He's not going to stop what he's doing, even though what he is doing got him in this goddamn situation. He can't stop. He won't stop. He admits it. How is that going to help him? That's what I want to know. I may not be a brain scientist or something, but let me tell you something. I have enough brain to figure out, even as an onlooker who's not involved in this situation, to know that the guy is a moron by his own, again, Popeye loves this one, demonstration, Popeye. By your demonstration, Popeye, of simulcasting me. These are morons. Brain damage or something, I don't know. But why, if you're in such a bad position, you want to stay in this country, why did you do what you did? And the question is, why do you continue to do what you're doing, knowing that it's not helping your situation? That's the thing that really perplexes me. Okay, would it be out of line for me to visit him? Well, I don't think he carries much pairs of underwear because he'd be pissing his pants. Stefan says, I don't think he would survive in prison, especially the way he can run his mouth. He would be in big trouble there. Stefan, I couldn't fully agree with you more. He's the kind of guy that can't shut his mouth. If he was in prison, holy shit, they would have to probably separate him from the population or something. Because he feels all fine and protected. Or what did he say? The guards like me. No, they don't like you. They have to tolerate you. They've been hearing your shit for almost 22 fucking months. They want you out of there in a big fucking way. They want you out. And they will take a sigh of relief when you get transferred to a prison or just get deported, whatever the case may be. They will have a sigh of relief. He's so proud that he runs the third floor. The only thing he runs is his mouth. No, I don't think he would survive in prison either, Stefan. Oh, that's a taken, you know. He'll even wind up getting the paddle. And his fragile body would not survive the paddle. He keeps on claiming he's got a bad back and everything else. And he's not a disability, it's a mental disability. That's what he's on. It's not a physical disability about him having a bad back. I don't buy that story, and I never bought that story. And again, the continued lies about his disability status, he kept on saying that he wasn't getting it. In one show, he came out and said, oh, he finally got through. I'm going to have a check coming or whatever, but I can't get at the money. He still went on with another lie. Now he's saying that, no, he did get it, but he doesn't have access to the money. Then he turns around, practically on the same breath in another show, says that he still ain't getting his disability. So which is it, Barry? Are you getting, which did you decide today? Every day's a new day. Are you getting your disability or are you not getting it? He says it's tied up, needs a signature or something. He's so full of shit. And about the marriage thing, let's get back to that. He has to be physically present to sign his signature on several things. He also has to attend to get married. It's the law. It's a kind of a marriage counseling thing. That's part of the whole protocol. How is he getting out of his jail cell, or how did he get out of his jail cell to perform that? When he's saying that the guards won't even take him to the hospital, they're going to take him to go sign paperwork for some government agency. No, they're not. They're not. So let's see what happens on February 22nd. If he truly is able to get married, that it's not just ceremonial, or keep in effect in mind that he did say and hinted already to us, well, you know, I don't know if I'll be able to put that on camera. The immigration may not allow me. Oh, yeah, but they'll allow you to do everything else. I smell something pretty fishy in Mandawi. I don't know about you guys. Very fishy. Yeah. HAG says, picture Barry strutting going inside Bikitan. You'd hear a murmur. That's the boss of the third floor. Everybody step aside, right? I'm in here now. I'm going to run this joint. No, you're not. You'll be hiding in every dark corner you can. You won't even go out in a goddamn courtyard. You'd be too afraid. You got some rough-ass Filipinos out there, man. Filipinos, rather. You got some mean-ass They're murderers. There's all kinds of shit. Rapists, murderers. He'd be shitting his pants. His solid shit is going to be turning to water. Pennywise says, her barangay captain brother are pulling strings to make the marriage ceremony happen? ? I don't know. Look, I'm not even sure this is going to happen. Like I said, there's too many variables in here. Is it just going to be ceremonial to try to fool everybody? Anybody could do that. Ceremonial thing. Hey, can't really marry you, but we could have a ceremony, say we're married. That's a consideration. Number two, a real marriage. That he's able to get a real marriage. How? I don't know. But a few strings pulled, whatever, maybe. Okay, number three, okay, may not see anything at all. He may come up with that excuse. He already set us up for that, right? Or sets you all up for that. Thinking that, well, immigration's going to say, I can't show it on camera. Yeah, like he's been able to show on camera bona fide proof that he wasn't getting his benefits, that they were canceled. All he showed was a piece of paper. You didn't see signatures. You didn't see anything on it. And then what else did he present? That you could get it on, what's that application he showed some other document of some sort, like a template. You remember that? Okay, so you can't believe anything he says. Pennywise says, okay, I read that. I'm going to give it a few more minutes, folks. We got to be out of here. We definitely overreached 2 hours and 39 minutes. Jesus Christ. It's okay. That's okay. Because I wanted to kind of get everything out and tell you kind of where I'm standing on all this. I will face any adversity that comes my way, and I will deal with it. I will deal with it in my own way. What's that? Pennywise. He takes her as his ceremonial wife until his release to them apart. Yeah. I'll guarantee you, I know the guy so well that, and no offense to you, Shaw, if you're listening to this, no offense is meant at all. It's just that I know Barry. Okay. I have no opinion or comment on, what I think you look like, whether I think you're pretty or the opposite or anything in between. I have no opinion here on YouTube whatsoever, and I will not make that opinion. But I will tell you one thing, okay? And this is a fact. Barry's the kind of guy that if he could get a woman that could be deemed to be really good looking in anybody's eyes, or most people, to each his own type thing, but he will drop her like a hot potato. See you later, alligator. In a wild crocodile. See you later, alligator. In a wild crocodile. Yeah, that's exactly what he would do. Because external things are really important to him. His beautiful, wonderful girlfriend. In his eyes, is she really his beautiful, wonderful girlfriend? Or is she being used as a tool? He knows how to butter her up, and she's falling for it hook, line, and sinker. That's her doing. I could formulate an opinion on it. That's okay. And I am right now. And I'll stick to what I said. It's my opinion. Now, I never said she was ugly. I never said she was good looking. I never ever made a comment in reference to what I think she looks like. No, never done that. I got my own opinion, but I'll keep that to myself. Legally, I will do that. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I don't want to get into a Joe Cocker song here, but you are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? I love everything about you and everything you do. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? I love everything about you and everything you do. You are so beautiful to me. And what you can do for me. So marry me and try to get me to stay in the Philippines. I love you so much that I'm using you as a tool. And she either knows about it, can figure it all out by now, or she doesn't. But she has her own reason for marrying him, and that's her gig. That's her gig. Well, it's a ploy, no matter what it is. What's in it for her? People are asking that question. It's a good question. What is in it for her? It's not like she's going to marry, this really wonderful bachelor, who can offer her financial stability, real love, real affection, and truth. Neither one of these things can this guy perform. And he wants to marry this woman.
Okay, the trolls will say, see, he's still talking about Barry and his potential marriage. Well, there's a good reason for that. Very good reason. You guys have all figured out. Because you know his feelings are not real. He's not capable of loving. He doesn't even love himself. How can you love somebody else if you do not love yourself? That's a key point right there. If you can't love yourself, you're not capable of loving anybody else. And to use a woman as a tool, remember, marriage is irreversible here in the Philippines. There is no divorce. So you're going to leave her in that situation? Really? After you get what you want from her? She's been a servant to you all this time, bringing you some goodies from the outside world, everything from underarm deodorant and other different things that she brings in, using her own money, which could go to better purposes for her own survival, that she's that devoted to you. And why would she be that devoted to you? What kind of a stronghold do you have on this woman? What is your stronghold? We'd all like to know. Superman says, I just think Barry just wants to get married to her so she can stay overnight, maybe. And that's all he was talking about. Now I'm going to get conjugal visits. I'm going to be able to get laid. Come on, man. She's got to be more than that to you to marry her. I mean, should we call him Mr. Hand? Which is his better hand, his right hand or his left hand? Which one that he's been using to jack off all this time? You're going to tell me that there's, in this prison system, that there's not conjugal visits? Come on, man, there's got to be. And when the guards are away, who's saying that he ain't going at it with her like a rabbit? Who knows? He's not going to tell you the truth. Okay, I should finish reading that. I wonder if her parents know that she's getting married. They'll probably just lie to them and say Barry came back to the other country to get married, but had to leave right away. Yeah, and AJG says, I'd love to be there when Barry gives his going away talk with her. Sorry, baby. They're deporting me, but I swear to God that I'll be back. No. If you're permanently blacklisted, Jack, you ain't coming back, Jack. So why are you doing this to her? Is she that gullible? Please tell me she's not that gullible. Please tell me, for her own doing. Not that she's my favorite person, but as a Filipina in general, please don't do that. Just because you're trying to utilize her like a common garden variety fucking tool to get what you want. Don't put her through this. Like I said, there's no love lost between me and her, but, on a fair level, as in general, a Filipina, I hate to see this happening to a Filipina. I think it's so wrong. I don't know what the stronghold he has on her. Neither does anybody else. But you know what? Her father doesn't even know. Barry said it online. Well, she was she was in the room with him. And he said that the only family members that know he's in jail is her brother and two of her sisters. The father that he's supposed to be so close to, that's supposedly given his blessings to Barry to be part of the family and get married. First of all, the guy doesn't speak a word of English. It's all these so-called great talks he's had. The guy don't speak a word of English. And he doesn't even know. What Barry said is what the rest of the family knows, or what he's told them, that he was out of the country working or something. That's what they know. So he's already lied to the family, and she's already lied to her family. Oh, that's a great start for a marriage. If you're proud of the man, don't hide it. Why are you hiding it? Why?
Why? If you're so proud of who you're marrying, ma'am, tell them the truth and let them formulate their own opinion about the situation, because she's afraid of what they're going to say. That's it. She's afraid of what they're going to think and say. Remember, saving face for Filipinos in this country is a huge thing. The truth is going to come out somewhere down the line. Is it not? I mean, you can only hide something for so long. And the truth is going to come out. Brisket says Drew will start stalking Shaw when Bummer leaves. He will become Bummer's Eskimo brother. Stephen says only Barry can bounce an $11 check and has $700 fine because of it. AJG says, isn't the remedy for a bounced check typically triple damage? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about that. But I'm sure he has a felony somewhere. And you would think that they would. Hold on a second, folks. Because I know on the 13A, for example, it does stipulate something about that. Your criminal past, any legal impediments that you still have on you, it does stipulate that. I did some reading on that, for the hell of it. I did some reading. So if he really thinks he's going to get a 13A, then he really is out of his monkey-ass mind. I will tell you that. He'll tell her whatever he wants to tell her, and whatever it is that she'll believe. Stephen said, did you see that video Shaw posted with her father and Barry walk? Yes, I did. I remember very well. Walking on the beach, Barry had his arm around them, acting like they were friends. That guy doesn't care about Barry. I would imagine that he wouldn't. He wanted to show people, look how close I am with the family. When both of them are lying about his real situation. They're lying, both of them. If there's nothing to hide, I would say to her, then why are you hiding the fact that your boyfriend has been incarcerated for the past almost 22 months? Why would you do that? Unless you're ashamed of him. You don't want to tell your family and lose face. Isn't that what it really is? Stephen says, did you see that? Yeah. Exactly. Okay, time is kind of winding down here. We'll go for a few more minutes here. I'm way. This is the longest show I did, almost 3 hours. I have not done a show like this, I can remember, for 3 hours. That was very rare for me to do that. Since this is my swan song, I figured I'd do a show and just kind of say what's on my mind. And I'm going to try to sum this up as best as I can. I can't index this, but that, Barry, all I can tell you, you'll get whatever's coming to you. That's the truth. You'll get what's coming to you. The judge has to make that decision, not necessarily me. All I can do is introduce evidence. You already pleaded guilty. So, it is what it is. Stephen, AJ says to Stephen, the things a father will do and tolerate for his daughter. Stephen says true to AJG. First kid in lottery ticket says maybe it's Shaw's father that Bummer really wants. Well, you said that comment, I didn't. I don't block people for their comments on here like Barry does. It really has to take an extreme comment for me to block anybody. It don't matter at this point, though. But Barry, look, it is what it is, man. What happens, happens. Forget about a 13A. That's never going to happen. Forget about being able to get her to America. This is the other thing, too. And let me finish off with that. Talk about unfairness to your girlfriend. That's a really big step, whether it's you or anybody else that's to marry somebody under false pretense, because you're really not thinking about their future. You're just being selfish and thinking about your own. No, I still don't feel it's right you guys get married, but I have nothing against it. I know the amount of train wreckage that's going to be happening in the future as a result of this. It's pretty obvious to me what's going to happen, but it's really unfair to her. And should I care whether it's unfair to her or not? On some level, no. Of course not. Like Big Kev. Maybe it's Sean's phone. AKA HAG says, AKA like Big Kev. Yeah. You know, Barry, I don't care what you do. It's your life. I'm just saying, man, you better reflect a little bit more upon what you're doing in your life. I don't know how many years you got left, and the way you're going, I wouldn't say you have a whole lot of years. You call me old man, all you want. I earned every year of it. But suffice to say, I would think that you're not going to make it to my age. Not the way you're going. No, not the way you're going. So you call me old man as much as you can. I am what I am. Yeah, I am an older man. I call it older man. It is what it is. I've earned every fucking year of it. And I've never been incarcerated for fucking 22 months. And as the saying goes, you made your bed and you gotta lie in it. Get it? Lie in it. You made your bed already. Along with bed bugs and every damn thing else. And I'll tell you what, you think it would be funny if we wound up in the same cell? And it wouldn't be funny to you, Bo. No, it wouldn't. I guarantee tell you. You'd be shitting your pants every day, and I'd like to see how loudmouth you are around me. If that situation would ever happen. If you guys could hold 3 minutes, I'd appreciate it. We're going to conclude in a few. Okay, thank you for waiting on that. It is my opinion that Barry is going to be thrown into a crocodile pit if he gets himself into a prison situation. And I don't care how long. It's not the length of time. It's just doing time. Something that'll wake his sorry ass up. He will be in a crocodile pit with hungry crocodiles. He's not going to be running the third floor anymore when he goes to prison. I guarantee tell you that. He's not going to be running anything but his mouth. And it's his mouth that has gotten him into trouble all this time. That's the beauty and the art of this whole shit going on. Him running his mouth has put him in a position that I just don't think it's going to be that easy to get out of. I just don't think, you know. I just don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to conclude here I think I said what I need to say, and it's been the longest show I've done in a long time. No, I am getting off YouTube here. I basically came on to say thank you to the people who have actually followed me for a long time. You got to be thankful to some people on here. And by the way, as you very well know, they can label me as the most hated guy on YouTube. It's not true. It's not true at all. Something called sock accounts. It may look that way. Oh, yeah, and I get all these horrible comments. Sometimes people write me. But the fact is, they are fans of mine. And they've been for a long time. It's easy to go into sock. It's easy to have as many accounts as you want. Barry does it all the time. Pretends he's not his other channel, guilty of sin. What it's obvious he is. He actually talked first party, actually, in some of his comments on his own channel. Well, that's supposed to not be his channel. He's so fucking dumbass stupid that he doesn't understand even what comes out of his mouth and how apparent it is that it's him, that you know it's him. He has certain terminology he uses that you know it's him. He can't hide himself or who he is. Now, whatever this thing comes to, it comes down to. Just let the courts figure it out. Just let the courts figure it out. I could predict this and I could predict that, but you don't know. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be good for him. And as he keeps on claiming, I'm not going to give Frank a fucking peso. You're not getting no money out of me. As I said, that's fine. What you don't give me, if the judge deems it that you should be paying some court expenses, okay? What you don't pay in the mathematics of this whole thing is going to be equal to time in jail. Until you could pay off. But until that happens, if the judge does convict you and says, I will agree with attorney fees and expenses that you've been jabbering about all the time, saying you're not going to get a dime from you. Well, it's not that I'm going to get money from you. You don't have any. Well, none that you want to tell everybody about, like your accrued Social Security you have in the bank. But payment will be one way or the other. It'll either be cash or it's going to be time in jail. Your choice. You have choices to make. And you didn't want to convince your girlfriend to drop the complaint. That may turn in your face and may turn in hers. Remember, it's not over until it's over. And you love her so much you want to marry her, but yet you got her involved in this shit. And you said time after time. And I got to be a parrot now and be redundant again, but I will. Time after time that you don't want to involve her in your shit. But you did. And what happens? Let's just speculate. What happens if this becomes some legal involvement? I mean, what happens if the DOJ decides to get her for harboring, abetting, harboring, abetting, and aiding him? What if they decided to do that? Let's just play it out. What if? Let's do some what ifs on this, okay? Do you think he did her a justice by getting her involved? I didn't get to the point that she's going to be so pissed at you, she'll slap you in the face if she ever sees you. Look what you did to me now, bummer. You fucked my whole life up. And now I can't get fucking divorced because the Philippines won't allow it. I went and married your ass. I should have listened to the people. They were right. You are a loser. You are a bum. There is no future with you. What did I do? What did I do? You should be asking yourself over and over and over again. Okay? People, take care. I really want to thank the people who follow me for a long time, even the trolls. Remember, if my show was that boring, nobody would come to see it all. How many years I've been on here? Approximately 10? I've always had an audience. If you don't like somebody, you can just tune out, right? But no, they tuned in. If you want to live for drama, it just simply tells me that there's not much going on in your lives. Don't hold your breath waiting for me to drop dead either. I'll probably outlive most of y'all, knowing your lifestyles. We're starting to lose them now, aren't we? One by one, one by one. Who's next? Could be me. Hell if I know. I'm being fair about this. But the chances of me going before some of these obese goobers out there, it's not much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tune in and turned on. Right on, brother. It's got to be a begin to something. It's got to be an end. And I think I did reach that point. I just came on. Basically, it's the longest show I ever did, but it was purposeful to be this long because I wanted just to kind of get my feelings out. And no, my feelings are not hurt, Barry. They're not hurt. There's nobody who would have the gunyos to do what I did. And every viewer out there knows that Barry did wrong. He's not a righteous person. He never was. He denies everything and all the people they got money off, from Cliff to Prince to women to... Whew, the list just goes on and on and on. He's just not fooling anybody but himself. He has to live with himself. I don't have to, like him. That's why he's probably up late at night doing shows too. 2, 3 in the morning doing a show. Because he can't sleep. He's got so much guilt behind in his conscience. If he has a conscience at all, but I don't even think he has that. He's evil. He needs counseling. Maybe he needs meds. I don't know. I'm not his doctor or psychiatrist. But it's pretty apparent to everybody on here that something is not right in his world. 3 hours, yeah. This is the longest thing I've done in a long ass time, brothers. But there's a reason why I'm this long, because as I said, I just wanted to throw caution to the wind. I want to let everything out, how I feel about certain situations. My life goes on. It will continue to go on until it cannot. Nobody's going to interfere in my lifestyle if I could help it, or my life. When you start making threats to me, that's a whole different ballgame. And by the way, I know that Brevis is one of the people that writes me on email with some threats. But Brevis's day, his day is going to come. In fact, he actually could have been Joe Green. It was either Barry or Brevis. He tried to talk like Barry would talk on the email. But Brevis has a bone to pick with me. My rejection of his friendship. It hit him really hard. Remember, he's my biggest fan ever. Jesus Christ, when he came over and told me that, it was like... Turned to Guild and I said, oh shit. We got a fucking lunatic here. A fanatical fan of mine. That ain't anything good. That's not good at all. Brevis' day will come. Believe me, his day will come. Because he can't stay out of trouble. And I'm out of here. Thank you, folks, for tuning in for this very long show. Thank you, Popeye, for simulcasting. That means I get my word out in 2 different places. Thank you very much. And for those of you who follow me for a long time, thank you for hanging in there. And I think you guys know the difference between truth and fiction. I think you all figured it out. Does Mr. Jordan belong incarcerated? Yes, he does. And yes, I do truly believe that I have done a favor and a justice to all the future people in bars and relationships and money lending situations and so forth, from taking advantage of people, that I put a stop to it for at least 22 months almost anyway, and hopefully a lot more. I think I did my part, whether you want to credit me on this or not. I feel personally, no matter what happens from this day on, and I do mean anything, that justice has already been served. It's already done. Everything else is just going to be icing on the cake. AJ, she says 2 years per charge of libel. That's fair. Yeah, I would agree with you. That would mean 10 years. Will he be even alive in 10 years to serve his imprisonment? I don't know. Barry, you did it all on your own. End of story. Do what you feel that you need to do, and I will continue to do whatever it is I feel I need to do. Fair enough? All Barry is doing is merely detention time. That's right. That's all it is right now. Okay, Stefan, and everybody who's actually supported my channel, I want to thank you, and I really mean it. Of course, some of you guys are trolls out there, but you've been following me for a long time. As long as you haven't done no shit on my show, I have no problem with you at all. I'm willing to hear your opinion on here without blocking you. And you expressed your opinion on here. It may not have came out of my mouth, but I was at least allowing you to say what you felt or your opinion about the whole, any situation that's going on here. You're able to do that on my channel. He's not doing any prison time. No, not at the moment he's not. Not at the moment, but I feel that he will. No, not yet anyways. You're right, not yet. Just give it a little bit of time. I think this is going to drag on for a little bit, or we may get a big surprise. I don't know. But as I said, you know, if his girlfriend's situation comes true, well, as I said, me and my attorneys have avenues to fight that. It's not a done deal. But as I also said, and you could mark down my words, that if detention center doesn't see clearly on this, that's when the second case is going to go out on him. And at that point, I figured I have nothing to lose. He will be involved in mitigation and litigation and all this shit for years to come. While he's in prison or while he's not in prison. But he made that bed, he put the covers on, he put the sheets, I doubt. The bed he lies on is something, and I do mean lies, is the bed that he made for himself. I have absolutely no compassion for him. I never will. I hope he gets his just reward. Frank, you're the only one who even did anything about Barry. That's my point, too. I don't know. Some people said I have one ball. Well, it must be a pretty big fucking ball, I'll tell you that, to do what I did. Nobody could do that. I did. I'm very proud of the fact that I stood up for myself and Gilda and family. And yes, again, I'll push this. Is our 9th anniversary together. And those who thought it would never last all ate their share of crow. Take care and behave, Barry. Behave or don't behave. That's up to you. You're in no position to be a bad boy at this point, but it works for me. Popeye, hey man, get a fucking hobby. I don't think bingo is cutting it for you. If your life is just recording me on here and making sketches and all that shit, man, maybe I could feel sorry for you in some way. Living on all your laurels from when you were in the Navy and that's all you got. You haven't been laid for how long? Damn. Now, wait, one last thing. What was Barry saying about Viagra? He's backing up Jay. He goes, you know how it is when you drink, you're not going to get a hard on. You're going to need to take Viagra. You have a history of drinking, Barry. Did you have to take the blue pill? Are you still taking it? See, you know, people need something, they need something, Barry. You'd be right about that. If you need a medication, you take it, brother. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay? But with all the drinking you did, and like you said, if you drink a lot, you know how it is, you said. Jay drank a lot, and there's nothing wrong with fucking women, he says. No, there's nothing wrong with fucking women. If that's your little recreation and that's all you want to do is use and abuse women, then God bless you if that's what you want to do. I don't use and abuse women. I never have. Okay? Adios, muchachos and muchachas. Thank you very much for being there. Superman says, "Is this the last stream, Frank? I wish you well. I'm going to stay as happy as I can. I'm going to stay as well as I possibly can. I can't control my health future. Certain things I could do to make it better, of course. I've always said that. I'll be the first to say it. I think I'm doing everything okay. From various tests I have, I'm fine. I think I'm doing better than a lot of people on here at my age. Adios, muchachos. Dad, Popeye, you now could do your little soliloquy like you always do. And we know you smoke, Popeye. It's in your voice. And I know you drink. All these fucking hypocrites. Be good, Barry. Be good. It's all catching up on you, bro. Get married. Knock yourself out. Do me a favor. Do us all. The train wreck continues, folks.
Okay, what did we learn? 3 and almost a half hour of blah, blah, blah. I hate Barry. I hate Popeye. I hate Dawn. Oh, man. Oh, man. What a show. What a show, man. Hey, you know, I'm going to tell you all, I'm taking bets. I say no more than 96 hours and he'll be back. All right. Anybody want to take the over and under? Be my guest. Okay. So, I learned he really hates my ass and it pisses him off that I simulcasted him. Well, that's about too bad. And yeah, I do smoke. I smoke doobies. Do I drink? No, I don't drink. I just gave up drinking a long time ago. Maybe once in a while, a glass of wine. Nope. I'm jealous. He doesn't hate me. I'm sorry, Flying Circus. Flying Circus, you put in such great work. Dawn has been putting in great work. I mean, dude, you can't complain. Even if somebody smokes or drinks and then put somebody down for it when you're smoking, I mean, come on, let's get real. The hypocrisy is right up to my fucking nose. 2 to 3 days tops. The heroin. I mean, YouTube withdrawals will be too much for him. Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be too much for him. I really, I don't know what to say. He is very worried about the Shah thing, and I think he sent his lawyer there to get something done about it. Okay? And he complains and complains and complains, but I don't think $3,000 is going to stop him from getting to be deported. I mean, the guy has done nothing but waste his money with these cases. I've never seen anything so vindictive in all my life. It's just appalling, you know? It's appalling. Frail has no one to talk to but his phone. He'll be back. I agree. I I just want this to stand. Frank's Swan song number 3,515. I'm leaving YouTube. I mean, you can't come on here and say, I stayed all the time. Look at how many times he quit and come back. What the fuck? I mean, this guy does not even realize what he's saying. It's just horrific, okay? And there's plenty of good material for you here, Dawn. Be my guest, have at it, you know. And I want to thank all you guys for coming in. Flying Circus, Steve 25901, Chris Travels. Who else we got? Simulacron. We had Don C in here. Flying Circus. Mike Luna. Chris Cato. I mean, all you guys, 7 Ways, all you guys always show up, man. It's Mike Dowdy, Dr. Pronkenstein. But, so you guys have a good night. I got to get off here. My ass is sore sitting in this chair. Quit 30 times in 2019 alone. I know. I know. And as many times as he's patted himself on the back tonight, it was just hilarious. And, but I kind of do hope he stays off. It would be better for him. And you're welcome, Steve. No problem, bro. I figure I'd do one last simulcast, poke the bear one last time. All right, this was the Popeye 1 simulcast. I'm out of here, man. Be cool, guys.